Wild weekend of college football, by the way. That was a fantastic environment in Austin, and more on that game in just a moment. But let's get into those top 10 teams as I see them right now. And again, if you just threw the preseason rankings out and you said, what have I seen from these teams so far through 2 weeks, I think you'd put Georgia number one. I think that's pretty obvious. I've got Ohio State number two. They're going to continue to get better. Alabama goes to number three. Okay, so Alabama, they're still really good, and I understand that they didn't play great in that game against Texas. But remember, when their best was needed, Bryce Young showed up and basically put a cape on his back. Bryce Young was 15 of 19 for 136 yards in the fourth quarter. So when they needed his best, man, he was there. There's some concerns, yes, for Bama, namely that offensive line. They were unable to run the football. They had the 81-yard touchdown run, and outside of that, the running backs didn't really do anything. Outside of that 81-yard touchdown run from McClellan, their backs actually averaged about 2.6 yards per carry. So they've got to get better running the football, and then the wide receivers have got to develop. They were not getting open. They couldn't take the top off the defense. But you get the sense, folks, it's still Nick Saban. He adjusts and evolves as well as anybody. And so you would get the sense that this team is going to be just fine. It just didn't look great. The bottom line for them, they got the win, 1 point in Austin. Bryce Young was brilliant. As we move on in that top 10, at number 4, I've got Michigan. J.J. McCarthy now going to be the starting quarterback, kind of moving forward, at least this week against UConn. At number 5, we come in with USC. Folks, if you're being honest with yourself, USC lands at number 5, and here's why. Lincoln Riley has been putting this blueprint in action for years. If you look at the numbers, USC is almost identical to even the playoff teams at Oklahoma. If you look at their yards per play, both defensively and offensively, they're actually better than the 2018 Oklahoma Sooners that went to a playoff with Kyler Murray. That Oklahoma Sooners team on offense for yards per play, 8.6. Defensively, they were giving up about 6.2, 6.1 yards per play. This USC team is better than that. Better on both sides, by the way. Even better than the Kyler Murray offense. They're gaining 8.62 yards per play on offense and only giving up 5.09 yards per play. Lots of numbers to tell you this is a blueprint that could absolutely wind up in the college football playoff. Lincoln Riley has been doing this for years. So watch out with that schedule, with Notre Dame down, with the fact that Utah struggled against a mobile quarterback and Anthony Richardson. This could be your favorite, not only in the Pac-12, but also to get to the playoff. Just keep that in your back pocket. All right, let's continue here with the top 10 as we go through. 6, I've got Clemson. I think they struggle still on offense, but that defense is good enough to bring them along, and they will get better on the offensive side. As we continue, Brent Venables and the Oklahoma Sooners. We'll talk to him in just a moment. He's at number 7. How about Mel Tucker and Michigan State, man? They've just quietly reloaded in the transfer portal, and here they come again running the football, and I think they're playing better defense than they did a year ago. Oklahoma State, quietly again. This is a really good football team. Veteran on offense, veteran quarterback, and a team that knows how to win under Mike Gundy. I've got them at number 9. And then at number 10, Texas. You're thinking to yourself, Joel, well, that's odd. Why Texas, if you didn't look at the preseason rankings and you just evaluated what went on the football field, Texas would still probably be in your top 10. They are for me in particular after being down there. This team felt a lot different than they have over the last 10 years. And not just because they've got good players. Yes, they do. It's just their whole mentality and the fact that they're much more enamored with the chase rather than the capture. For 10 years, it's been about are they back? Are they at the destination? And they never focused on the chase. It was always the capture, never the chase. Now it's more about the chase. They're talented. They're much better. Granted, they got their quarterback situation to figure out here in the next couple of weeks, but that's a really good football team that I think could wind up in Arlington in a Big 12 championship game later in the season. So that's my top 10 as I see them right now. Lots of shakeups this week after we finally saw a couple of weeks and didn't have to rely on the preseason ranking. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.